Thank you for coming to Introduction to Law and the Legal Professions. Today is April 14, and we're going to cover a little bit about the resume modules, the orientation modules, and HonorLock. I'm going to go ahead and open up my desktop. Here we are in our class. You can see that we have, I'm going to go down to the paralegal orientation module. I've posted 2 lectures about this material. You don't need to worry about the document that is labeled Paralegal Hourly Rate of $295, Hourly Rates of Paralegals and Attorneys. These you can look at because they haven't changed or changed very little from the time that these were posted, but you can also pull up more recent ones by going to collin.edu. Plus, I also discuss these in the lecture, and you don't need to worry about this law school salary form. I talk about the LinkedIn group online. This is an opportunity for extra credit. You will get 5 points added to your final examination grade, and it also sets you up nicely professionally. It's a good way to get job leads within our program. It's the only way actually we do job leads. This request for degree plan, you're welcome to prepare, and you can either scan it and email it to me, or you can send it to the advisors, or you can wait until we're back on campus. This PowerPoint I use in the first lecture, so where you'll find my orientation lectures are right here. So at this point, I kind of consider the orientation sessions over. It's kind of weird to do it remotely like this. But if you have any questions that you want to share with the group, you're welcome to post them here or on Thursday. In addition, if you have private questions, you are concerned about whether a course will transfer, whether we can substitute something in, or you have a question about the ordering of courses, you're welcome to come to my office hours. You're also welcome to reach out to Professor Wagoner. He's our discipline lead, so he's also extremely well informed about these topics, but I'm glad to also provide all the support. I've been the discipline lead in the past, so I know the drill, so to speak. So that's the information where to find it about the orientation module. We don't have a lot of questions on the final about the orientation module. I think we have 1 or 2. So I'm providing this not so much to prep you for a test, but to prep you for success in the program and to give you information about resources that are available. Now I'm going to go to the resume module. The orientation module is right below Chapter 4. And the resume module is right below Chapter 8, which we don't cover in this course, by the way, and right above Chapter 13. You can see I have 2 lectures here, and I have some PowerPoint. I use the PowerPoint in the lectures, and I give some examples of job postings, so you can kind of see what some common job postings look like in this industry. On Thursday, I'll be releasing the assignment. What it basically is going to be, though, is you're going to prepare your resume for a paralegal position. So if you haven't gotten your resume together recently, this is the time to do so. I am glad to provide a lot of support in that. You're welcome to come by my office hours, and I'll be glad at any point in your career, even after you leave the program. I continue to help folks with their resumes. The thing about resumes are that there are lots of different ways to do them, and I wouldn't say there are, I mean, I guess there are bad ways, but there are lots of good ways of doing them depending upon the industry that you're in. And so you might have a beautiful resume that's perfect for your career doing X, but may not be as good a fit for a career as a paralegal. And so I try to not only offer kind of generic resume advice, but also advice focused on paralegalism. Another way that I add benefit is I'm an extra set of eyes to check for typos and things like that Typos are a pretty big deal in our profession, and so it's good to have as many people checking your work as possible. In that spirit, if you don't come see me before the due date, please have your significant other, daughter, son, mother, father, whomever, proofread your document for typos. It's very hard for me to find my typos in documents. If you're like me, and many people are, it's good to have another set of eyes to evaluate it. But anyway, I'll give you more information about the resume assignment on Thursday. You can see that going forward, we're doing some chapters out of order. We're going to go to 13, then 11, then 10, then 12. We're going to cover every chapter in the textbook except for chapter 8. We'll get to them eventually, but in terms of chapter quizzes and things like that, 13 will be the next one up. I'm not going to post the chapter quiz for 13 this week because it's not going to be due until Sunday of next week. So that's the information about where to find resume resources and orientation resources. Now I'm going to flip on over to HonorLock. So if you will look at your recent announcements, your top one is about setting up HonorLock on your computer. To use HonorLock, you need a PC, a laptop, a Mac will work, and a Chromebook will work. A tablet and phone will not work, or at least that's what they tell us. I suppose you could try, because tablets do vary in their computing strength, and so it's possible that a tablet might work, but very possibly that won't work. And so if that happens, if you don't have that tool, we won't be able to use HonorLock. What I will do is I'll personally proctor your test for free, of course. It'll be largely the same experience, except we'll kind of work out the mechanics going forward. We'll obviously do it remotely, so you don't have to worry about any germs or anything along those lines. Okay, so you will need a computer. You will need to have a webcam. The webcam can be built in. Many laptops have it built in, or you can have a separate webcam. I'm not expecting you to go out and buy a webcam, so if you don't have one, then that, again, I'll be glad to proctor your 2 tests. And again, we'll have 2 tests in this class. One that will be a combination of tests 2 and 3, and then of course the final examination. And then the third thing that you need is a stable internet connection, and that may be the most difficult of the 3 components. As we did with the midterm, I will lock answers as soon as you're done with it. That's, again, for your protection, because you may lose the internet at some point. And if let's say the test is 60 questions and you're on question 12, if you've had the ability to wander around and look at questions later on, I wouldn't be able to reopen it for you. But since I lock questions once you've answered it, then we can reopen it for question 13 at some later time, and you can use the time remaining. So it's done in these days of internet instability to make things a little bit less stressful for you as you take tests. So those are the 3 things that you need. It is possible that HonorLock will boot you out for any, I mean, if you don't have the computer or the working cam, you won't be able to use HonorLock. HonorLock will also rate your internet connection and tell you whether it's adequate for what we're doing. In that spirit, it may make sense to take this test at odd hours. We've been told that their peak time is like 8 to 2 p.m., 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So you may want, but that may change. And so you may want to pick, 6 a.m. or midnight to take your test. In that there may be less traffic on HonorLock, or there just may generally be less internet traffic. It's better for you on HonorLock if you're not taking it in that 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. window, because you may find instability on their end of things, which of course adds an extra level of complication that we don't want to have if we can avoid it. So you can do it then. I just want to let you know that they've alerted us it can be an issue sometimes. Okay. So again, we'll figure it out. Just let me know if you don't have one of those 3 elements. So what do I do now that let's assume that I have those 3 elements. How do I go about using HonorLock? Well, what you'll do here is you will click on this link. It's in the bottom of this list. You'll click on it, and when I click on it, it takes me to this screen because I have already downloaded the Google extension. You need to take the test on Google Chrome, so if you don't already have Google Chrome installed on your computer, you'll need to download it. Once you have it downloaded, when you click on this, it will tell you, hey, you need to get the HonorLock extension. And you'll click on that. Again, it kind of holds your hand to put that into effect. Once you have it downloaded, then you will, when you refresh the screen, you will see this, and you'll be able to take the practice quiz. You'll launch right here. After you're done with the test, you can take off the extension. You don't have to keep it. If you remove it, obviously, for the first test, after the first test, then you have to put it back on for the final. There's no reason to keep it after the final. So let me go back to the announcements because I want to show you one more thing. And that is there is a series of, or there's a document here that goes through the do's and don'ts. When you're selecting your place to take the test, you'll want to have a place that is uncluttered, no papers, no books around, ample space for you to work. And you want to have a place with good lighting, like daylight. You'll also want to have a place that's relatively quiet. You will need to use your microphone while you're doing this, and if there is significant noise, it will HonorLock will say, hey, there's a problem there, and will flag your test as not being in compliance. I don't mean to say it has to be completely quiet, but if you've got little children, put them in a different room. If somebody's watching television, have them close the door, that type of thing. If the garbage disposal is running, have them do that first or whatever. Some things to keep in mind as you're taking the test or preparing to take the test is you need to do a 360 of your area, and it needs to be relatively slow, and so that everyone can see what's there. Obviously, what the proctoring service is looking for is, are there any hidden documents or things along those lines? And so if you are really jerky or really quick with your movements, or you don't do the whole 360, again, your test will be flagged as one that raises a question. And that creates a lot more work for you and for me. And so just try to be slow and meticulous about going through that. And that's why we have the practice test. So you can try out all of these things and make sure that you're successful in working at it. If you take the practice test by April 20th, a practice quiz, and really it's just doing the preparatory stuff. It's not, there's no paralegal questions on the test or anything like that. But if you take that practice test by April 20th, you'll get an extra point added to your overall grade. I can also do a second practice test. I think I can do as many practice quizzes as y'all want. So send me an email if you'd like to do it again, and I'll be glad to set one up so that can happen. So this will be where you click on it. You won't click on the test within the module. You'll just click on it right in this location. So I'm going to go back and see if there are any questions about HonorLock, the resume module, or the orientation module. Catherine, I'm not going to discourage you from doing that if that helps you be successful on the test. It may well trigger something, but again, if it gets triggered, it's not, what'll happen is it will get additional reviews. And so you're not doing anything wrong by reading the questions out loud. So I wouldn't overthink that or worry too much. I'm not, people are going to get flagged for things from time to time, and that's a very understandable situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if you got flagged for it. But again, getting flagged doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. It just means that there's another level of review. So if that's helpful for you, or you decide not to do it and then you catch yourself doing it, don't worry about it. It's nothing to lose any sleep over. Thank you for flagging that. for raising that concern. Okay, I am going to now turn off the recorder and go over the answers to quiz number 7.